Halo guys, selamat datang kembali di channel BadRush ya. Jadi hari ini mari kita lanjutkan kembali event kita di GenshinImpact ya. Seperti jadwal kemarin yang sudah kita bicarakan, jadi hari ini kita bakal lanjut event lagi untuk part keempat. Oke, sebenarnya kan hari ini niatnya kita lanjut yaitu ke ini guys, kemana? Ke yang ini ya, Go for Golden Whirlwind sama The Floral Courtyard part 1 ya. Kalau ini susah dan lama kita akan langsung ini, tapi kalau ini bisa cepet mudah dan bisa kita selesaiin hari ini juga, akan kita selesaiin hari ini juga. Terus ininya besok, kan kita niatnya seperti itu. Cuman karena ternyata sudah muncul pas gua record ini sudah kebuka part keempat, nih Act 4 True Tales of the Violet Garden Act 4. Jadi gua mikirnya untuk ini kita tunda dulu aja. Terus kita akan beralih ke sini dulu aja, ke ceritanya dulu aja. Gimana? Karena ini rekordan, jadi gue yang memutuskan ya. Jadi ya udah. Jadi untuk word quest kita akan tunda dulu, nggak masalah guys. Itu kan event lah ya, masih kalau di sini gue record masih 11 hari lagi. Kalau ke up-nya mungkin ya masih seminggu lagi, maybe ya, gua nggak ngitung, tapi pokoknya ini gua rekordan kurang 11 hari lagi. Ntar ke up-nya mungkin sekitar masih 5 atau 4 hari paling. Jadi gua mikirnya untuk ya sudah kita nyelesain ini aja mumpung udah kebuka. Jadi kita akan lanjut untuk ceritanya dulu, biar beres dulu ceritanya. Jadi kita akan mengetahui siapa dan apa gambar kelima ya, dan siapa yang ngasih info selama ini, ngasih kertas-kertas cerita selama ini ya kan. Terus setelah ini beres, seperti biasa besok jadi nggak ke word quest ini dulu, tapi kita bakal ke ini dulu guys, ke sini dulu ya, Legend of the Castle yang Festival Deeds part 4. Oke, jadi sekarang Act 4, besok part 4, terus habis itu baru itu sisanya kita akan sikat di sini. Kurang Class of Law, The Floral Courtyard belum kita coba juga. Jadi besok lusanya habis ceritanya beres semua, langsung kita ke eventnya, ke ke mini gamesnya ya kan. Ini kan termasuk mini games, mungkin ini juga antar mini games, kita kurang tahu, kita belum tahu, makanya kita buka dulu aja biar kita tahu ntar apa. Terus habis itu kita akan coba satu-satu mini games dari event ini ya. Oke, jadi ya udah tanpa berlama-lama lagi langsung aja kita lanjutkan Legend of the Castle. Oke, let's go. View quest. Village died in black. Oke, jam 12 kita coba sampai jam 12, kita ganti jamnya berarti ya, jam 12. Oke, kita tunggu di Liue. Terus habis ini kita ke Rito berarti ya. Langsung map. Lagunya bagus guys, benar. Kita cek juga. Oke, udah bener ya. Oke. Kita akan naik kapal kalau gitu ya. Ini lagunya bagus guys, jadi emang sengaja gua lambatin ya. La 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 la. Naik kapal deh yuk. Teng teng teng. Siapa tahu nemu peti di sini guys. Liue itu eksplorasi gua yang paling kecil tuh di Liue. Masih belum ada yang 100% kayaknya. Di Nazuma udah 100% semua anjir. Di Mondstadt beberapa tempat, tapi di Liue belum ada satupun tempat yang sudah 100% ya. Which renang. Boom. Atau nemu ini lagi, nemu peti di kota ini. Oke, sudah beres, jadi kita akan berenang ke Rito. Let's go. Anjir, gak jelas banget anjir. Cuma buat nungguin lagunya. Oke, lagunya bagus soalnya guys. Dan jarang-jarang itu muncul cuma pas, padahal judulnya Good Night Liue, tapi munculnya pas subuh-subuh di Liwe. Aneh banget dah. Oke, jadi kita langsung ke Rito, langsung kita selesaikan Egg 4 ya. Besok part 4, terus setelah itu nextnya kita akan nyoba minigames di eventnya ya. Kalau bisa beres, langsung beres kayak minigames yang pertama yang kita cari foto-foto ya akan kita langsung beresin. Cuman kalau susah kayak yang minigames yang kedua ya langsung kita skip dulu. Kita coba aja dulu, oke? Jadi yuk langsung aja kita mulai ini dulu. Egg 4.
Ah, you're here. It appears everyone has arrived.
Did your investigation?
Last night, I visited a former servant who once worked for my family.
Oke, dia datang ke
I was
tempat
able to learn the
pelayan
entirety of what
keluarganya
happened
dia dulu
all
ya.
those years ago. In my great-grandfather's generation, the Ishin art was tasked with forging an important Goshinto according to an ancient forging diagram. Though all the craftsmen involved were very experienced, the process was still unsuccessful. Every blade that was forged was defective. When the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished. So the craftsmen all fled and hid for fear of punishment. The Kaedehara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan eventually tracked down the craftsmen near the seaside. However, they met fierce resistance from the craftsmen, and in the end they were unable to prevent them from escaping by sea. The Kaedehara clan was severely punished for the swordsmiths that had escaped, and the family gradually fell into decline. Moreover, I heard that the head of the Kamisato clan was injured by the fleeing swordsmiths, which combined with his advanced age caused him to pass away shortly thereafter.
Yes. The sudden passing of the family head left the Kamisato clan leaderless. Treacherous people took advantage of the situation and put the family's status in the Yashiro Commission at jeopardy. This single incident had profound effects. Even after the position as head of the clan was passed to my father, the Kamisato clan still wasn't able to regain its prior reputation. But, thanks to my brother, everything is getting better now.
The failure to forge the blade was ultimately attributed to a lack of required skill and finesse. The Kaedehara clan and the Yashiro Commission always believed that was the case. However, the story of the 5 Kasen seems to imply that the failure didn't stem from a lack of skill, but rather, the diagram had been tampered with by someone. Miss Kamisato, I heard yesterday that the Yashiro Commission has still kept the diagram ever since the failed forging all those years ago. Might I ask you to do me a favor?
Yes, I understand. I will go back and search for the diagram. Please come meet me at the Kamisato estate later.
Oke, bakal dicariin diagramnya. Oke, Egg 4 dimulai. Let's go. The place dyed in black. The palace. La 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 la. Jadi kita rombongan bareng-bareng ke rumahnya Kamisato. Kamisato art. Full 5 star. Oke, kita masuk. Talk to Ayaya. Nani the fuck. Let's go.
Everyone, I've managed to find the old diagram.
Though the diagram is well preserved, you can still tell that it's seen at least 3 or 4 centuries of history.
Whoa, that's pretty old. Is it still possible to find any evidence of tampering?
At this point, we can only try our luck and see how we fare.
Oh, langsung keluar cara bikin pedangnya.
Although the effect is not too obvious, you can still see that some words have now started to smudge. Kazuha, this is clear evidence that this chart was indeed tampered with. Someone framed the Kaedehara clan all those years ago.
I see. But I fear that I've discovered this secret too late. When my grandfather was young, he proposed reviving the Ishin art many times to my great-grandfather. But my grandfather was only scolded for being too foolhardy. Yesterday, The former family servant said that my great-grandfather even went to the Yashiro Commission to request that diagram from the head of the Kamisato clan. He then showed that diagram to my grandfather and asked him and his subordinates to try to forge the sword. Sure enough, my grandfather also failed. My great-grandfather then told him, if you can't find the secret within, then the Ishin art deserves to fade from the world. My grandfather left Inazuma in a rage after hearing those words. He didn't ever see my great-grandfather again, even till the day of his passing. Looking back at it now, the argument between the two of them was simply meaningless.
Oh, Kazuha.
I heard that your great-grandfather was very industrious when he was young. But later in life, he no longer bothered with the forging arts. It appears that his failure took quite a toll on him.
Kazuha, did your great-grandfather really say, if you can't find the secret within? Did he use those exact words?
Yes. The servant said that he personally heard those words, and still remembers them very clearly. My grandfather was so angry at the time that he smashed my great-grandfather's cherished bonsai tree.
Yes, it appears that you understand my meaning. Kazuha, if your great-grandfather thought that the Ishin art lacked finesse, then after witnessing his son's failure, wouldn't he have said something more along the lines of, your skills aren't sufficient? But instead he said, if you can't find the secret within. Don't you find that a little strange?
Huh? Oh, so you're saying my great-grandfather may have very well known that the failure was due to someone's tampering?
Yes. The current evidence suggests that is highly likely.
I apologize, but would you all please accompany me to the Tenryou Commission? After I became a wanted criminal, the Tenryou Commission seized my family's last remaining estate, which contained all of my family's old belongings. I want to inquire about the whereabouts of those belongings. If I can find them, we might be able to get some clues.
Alright, let's get moving.
Kita ke anu dong, tempatnya Sarah dong. Bakal jadi apa guys? Senjata bintang 4 kah? Atau apakah? I don't know. Kita sekarang, tapi kayaknya nggak ada penjelasan bakal dapat senjata tuh. Cuman coba kita cek guys. Dapat senjata kan lumayan. Dapat blueprintnya aja deh, nggak apa-apa. Kujo berubah.
What are you all doing here? Did something happen on Rito?
Kujo Sara. Perhaps you still remember me.
Yes, I do. You're Kaedehara Kazuha,
A wanted
a wanted
criminal.
criminal during the Vision Hunt decree. However, your arrest warrant has since been repealed.
Oh, udah nggak jadiin buronan.
I'd like to ask about the Kaedehara clan's property that was seized by the Tenryou Commission. Do you know where all their belongings are now?
Yes, the items seized at that time are currently stored in the warehouse next to the police station. Since Kaedehara has come back to Inazuma, those items should be returned to their rightful owner.
No, I'm afraid you misunderstand. I'm not here to reclaim those belongings. I just want to investigate them for a personal matter.
I see. All right, I'll inform the police station. They'll take you into the warehouse.
Thank you, Sarah!
Kaedehara, about the Vision Hunt decree.
That's all in the past now, Kujo-Sara. There's no need to mention it again. I know you've also had your own convictions and struggles. However, may I ask something of you?
Yes? What is it?
Currently, I have no plans to stay in Inazuma. As a result, those items from my family's estate are of no use to me, Madam Kujo. I believe you are a person of integrity. After our investigation is over, I'd like to ask if you can handle those belongings for me. Please, sell them, and use the money to help the poor.
All right, I understand. I'll be sure to take care of it.
Oke. Sudah tidak butuh, saya tidak mau tinggal di sini lagi, gitu kata Kazuha. Jadi habis investigasi beres, barang-barangnya suruh dijual terus dikasih ke orang-orang miskin, guys. Oke, lower 60 meter, masa? Wih. Oke, kita sudah sampai ke gudang.
You must be here to investigate the Kaedehara clan's belongings. Well, Madame Kujo's already informed me of the situation. Please, come this way.
Waduh, malah ini nanti. Apa namanya, guys? Domain.
The Kaedehara clan's belongings are stored in this warehouse. Unfortunately, the items are scattered throughout in order to save space. My deepest apologies. However, I have clearly marked the corresponding items, so they shouldn't be too difficult to find. I'll be waiting for you at the door. Please, come see me if you require any assistance.
Oh, apa enggak?
Kazuha, since the items are scattered throughout the building, I propose we split up and look for clues.
Iya, anjir.
Yes, sounds like a plan. Thanks for your help, everyone.
Anjir, cari barang aja harus gelut dulu. Oh, enggak, ding. Kirain gelut dulu. Talk to everyone. Oke. Ini
I'll be
termasuk
checking
enggak?
around here. You and the others can start looking elsewhere.
Oke, oh, enggak ya. 4 orang tuh yang bukan Kazuha, oke.
Oh, it's you. I'm currently investigating the sword rack.
Oh, since the Kaedehara clan was a family of renowned swordsmiths, then this blade should be super valuable, right? Maybe it's a treasure of the Ishin art!
I'm afraid not. Although the sword rack is made of fine wood, the swords placed here appear to be quite ordinary. Due to the dire financial situation of the late Kaedehara clan, everything of value has probably been sold off already. The blade on the sword hasn't been sharpened, but there are many signs of use on the hilt. Perhaps Kaedehara used it for training as a child.
Let Paimon see! Oh, there seems to be a couple uneven characters etched into the scabbard. Kazuha. Wow, so it really was Kazuha's! Paimon can imagine what Kazuha was like as a kid.
I will continue investigating here and call you if I find anything interesting.
Oke. Satu orang. Mr. Albudi.
Oh, it's you. Unfortunately, I have yet to find anything of value here.
Whoa, this folding screen looks pretty old though.
Yes, perhaps if it were better maintained, then it could fetch a decent price. However, I doubt it could be sold in its current condition. I was taking a closer look just now and noticed a large piece of dirt caught in the fabric fibers on the back side. The soil is deeply embedded into the cloth. That means a great deal of force was used when the dirt was lodged into the cloth. It's likely that this patch of dirt is from the very flower pot thrown by Kazuha's grandfather. Because this is not what we are looking for now. Let me think. If I wanted to leave a message behind, I would probably choose to leave it on something a little more special.
Albedo seems to be thinking pretty hard. We better not bother him. What did you find, Shinjo?
I found quite the pile of
Sebelum
old
Fendi
books.
kita akan keliling
These
dulu, guys.
books here
Siapa tahu
are
ada
all
peti
related to smelting steel,
tersembunyi.
and these are about the process of forging blades. This pile over here is all about plants and flowers.
The books about plants and flowers must have belonged to Kazuha's great-grandfather.
I skimmed through them just now, but I didn't find anything particularly worth noting. I shall take a closer look and let you know if I find anything.
Oke, thank you. Kayaknya tidak ada ya. Terlalu berharap ada peti, guys. Tidak ada kah? Tidak ada, anjir. Di belakang, di sini. Gak ada peti. Gak ada. Ya udahlah ya, kita ngobrol sama Fenty last but not least. Cuma cari minum-minuman ini mah.
There must be some around here somewhere. Do you see all these pots here? Some of them are bound to have liquor inside, right?
Hey! Everyone trying hard to help, and you're over here looking for a drink?
I merely jest, of course. Come on, we're close to uncovering the truth now. Why do you look so worried?
Well, Paimon doesn't really get why Kazuha told Sara to sell all these belongings. What if we don't end up finding anything today? Then wouldn't Kazuha lose the chance of finding out what really happened all those years ago? You know, just saying.
I know you are worried about Kazuha, but if you ask me, he is stronger than you think. Since Kazuha made such a request to Sara, that indicates he's already made his choice. Whether we find out the truth or not today, or whatever it turns out to be, he's ready to accept it. No, not intuition. Rather, I've lived for a long time now, so you could say I have some experience in reading people. Leave the things here to me. You two can look around elsewhere.
Oke, beres.
Everyone, I've found something that...
Oh ini, nemu bonsainya.
This flower pot was in my house for a long time. I heard that it was left behind by my great-grandfather.
Yeah, the plants seem to have been dead for a while now.
Well, after my great-grandfather stopped studying the forging arts, he picked up the hobby of keeping bonsai plants. Most of his prized plants were given to others once he became seriously ill. But he specifically left behind this dead plant
Oh,
at the time,
pesannya ada di dalam
and
ini
even
pasti.
instructed
Dalam
my grandfather
tanahnya ini
not
boleh.
to throw it away in his will. My grandfather deeply regretted that he never managed to reconcile with my great-grandfather, so he left the plant exactly as it was. But now that I think about it, my great-grandfather could very well have left it behind for other reasons.
Now that you mention it, this flower pot is kinda suspicious.
Yes. Let's take a closer look, shall we?
We finally found something! It's only a bunch of blank paper. Do you think someone already discovered the compartment and swapped the contents?
No.
I do not think that is the
Itu
case
di
here.
ini,
See
kasih
the
air.
paper? It's
Bukan
quite
kasih air,
yellow,
apa
which
sih?
means it's very old.
Kasih air kan.
You mean to say that these sheets have been written with special ink? Like that which Miss Kamisato found before?
Iya
Yes,
pasti.
I agree with this hypothesis.
Okay, let's give it a dunk then.
There is a pond outside the police station. I'll use the water there.
Well, how did it go? Those weren't just plain old sheets of paper, were they?
Just as everyone guessed, after I sprinkled some water onto the paper, writing did indeed begin to appear on it. It is a letter, written by my great-grandfather.
Oh? What does the letter say?
It is. I'll tell you what my great-grandfather knew at the time, but before that, I wish to take you somewhere. Everyone, please follow me.
Malah harus ke Manstools nih. Rahasia banget ya. At the seaside, jauh kali. Jauh amat bro. Pindahnya. Teng tong teng tong teng 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 tong teng teng tong teng 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 tong teng tong teng.
Kaedehara, why did you lead us to this beach?
It is. In fact, my great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan tracked the fleeing swordsmiths to this very location. Our hypothesis was correct. My great-grandfather was well aware of the truth behind the defective blades. And it was right here where they
Penjahat
encountered the
yang
culprit
nge-frame
who framed
Kaedehara
the
clan
Kaedehara clan
dan Raiden
and the
Gokaden.
Raiden Gokaden. It reads, "To whoever reads this letter,
Kaedehara
I,
Yoshinori.
Kaedehara Yoshinori, have been held to a certain secret throughout my entire life. I don't have much longer in this world, and after much consideration, I finally decided to disclose the matter. All those years ago, when I was pursuing the swordsmiths alongside Commissioner Kamisato of the Yashiro Commission, I was not injured by one of the fleeing smiths. Rather,
it was night, and after the clues led us down to shore, I waited for the culprits to show themselves. However, there were no swordsmiths in sight, only a single eccentric stranger. This stranger claimed to be the one behind the failed forgings and said that he had been patiently waiting for us. He then threatened to destroy the Raiden Gokaden. That person was of able body, and in a blink of an eye, myself and the accompanying samurai had been defeated. Commissioner Kamisato was severely wounded.
Ya, dia kan bonekanya guys. Jadi emang dia juga
my hat had fortunately blunted a blow to my head.
Udah ada semenjak bertahun-tahun yang lalu
easily claimed my life at that moment. But
kan dia bonekanya
after noticing my appearance, he stopped his attacks and sternly asked if I had any connection with the name Niwa. I answered that it was my father's surname, and after my father disappeared, I was adopted by the Kaedehara family. Upon hearing my answer, the stranger paused. After a long silence, he suddenly said, "Tell her this. My name is Kunikuzushi." He then turned and left.
Si siapa Scaramucci, bonekanya itu.
So that's what really happened.
Yes. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan escaped from death and learned that the forging diagram had been tampered with by Kunikuzushi. However, due to the encounter, the head of the Kamisato clan was worried that my great-grandfather would be falsely accused of being involved with the perpetrator. So even on his deathbed, the master of the Kamisato clan cautioned my great-grandfather to never speak of what happened, because the perpetrator said he would destroy the Raiden Gokaden. My great-grandfather worried that the perpetrator would still return for vengeance. So, to protect his loved ones, he closed the family business. He said, "As the leader of the Kaedehara clan, I am deeply ashamed to witness the decline of the Ishin art. But as a father, it is my priority to ensure the safety of my children and grandchildren." Yes, that's right. If my grandpa had somehow discovered the secret behind the tampered diagram all those years ago, perhaps my great-grandfather would have told him the truth. Unfortunately, he failed to catch any of the hints in my great-grandfather's words. Miss Kamisato, it appears you were unaware of the happenings that my great-grandfather described here. What are your thoughts?
I suppose the reason the head of the Kamisato house never spoke of this to the family was due to similar safety concerns. If the perpetrator was capable of tampering with even the Shogun's diagrams, and could single-handedly defeat many men, then he is not an ordinary enemy. I will discuss this matter with Brother shortly, and investigate the identity behind the one called Kunikuzushi. Rest assured, we will act cautiously.
To be honest, as I read the letter, I felt much turbulence in my heart. But now I've managed to calm myself. My great-grandfather said in the letter that he did not wish his descendants to blindly seek revenge and be deceived by things of the past. Though he was in a tight situation when he wrote these words, I feel like they are still valid nonetheless. I think what's most important for each person is not the past, but the present. Even though we must carry the burdens from the past, there are also things we wish to strive for. Therefore, knowing the truth behind what happened is enough for me. I will live on just as my great-grandfather had hoped. That being said, if the enemy from all those years ago is still lurking and plotting to stir up more trouble, then I definitely won't turn a blind eye. These are simply insights I've gathered from all that I've experienced. Thank you all for accompanying me in my search for the truth behind that incident.
Great! Now that we're done here, let's head back to Rito.
Oke, terus gambar kelimanya gimana? Oke, kita balik. True form, ini dia. Sudah kayaknya akan digambar. Kazuha digambar siapa ini? Albudi nih. Oke, Albudi.
Today is the final stage of the
Ditutupin anjir. Oke.
Hello, traveler. Paimon?
Albedo, why is the portrait of Kuranushi all covered up? Paimon wants to see what your Kuranushi portrait looks like.
Don't worry. The unveiling ceremony will be starting shortly. You'll see what it looks like then. I will say that I'm most satisfied with this particular work. I even made a special trip to see someone in order to complete it. They gave me some very valuable suggestions. Is that so? Anyway, there is still time before the ceremony. You may have a look around the venue first.
Oke. Masih apa ya? Dirahasiakan sama Albudi. Kita harus jalan-jalan dulu. Fenty sama Miko.
Well, hello everyone.
Hey! What are you two doing together? Don't think we didn't see you two chatting up a storm just now. The moment we came over, you stopped talking.
Is that so? I'm afraid you're just overthinking things.
We were merely discussing wine and food. I'm sure you two wouldn't be interested.
Speaking of good sides with sake, I personally prefer fried tofu.
Forget it. Even if those two are plotting something, they'd still never let us know.
Oke, kita tinggalkan. Senyum aja guys. Siapa? Oh, jualan Shinju.
Traveler, Paimon, it's a pleasure to see you. Indeed it did. Thanks to you, the signing event went off without a hitch. And I must say, the readers seem most satisfied.
Shinjo, is it just Paimon, or are you on the lookout for something?
You aren't mistaken. Though I'm ashamed to admit it. But in fact, I have been on the watch for tourists from Liyue. After all, I came to Inazuma under the pretext of evaluating a potential investment. If an acquaintance were to see me sitting here, then there would be no way to hide the truth from my father. Fortunately, the crowds of readers that came flocking over have kept the usual tourists at bay. Oh, I should mention, Shu is also unaware of the real purpose of my trip. If you happen to meet him, please, remember to keep it a secret. Then, please accept my thanks in advance. I'm sorry that I can't chat long. There are still readers waiting in line. I'll see you later at the unveiling ceremony for Kuronushi's portrait.
Oke. Silahkan tanda tangan. Itu. Kami satu ayah tuh. Kami satu ayah ya.
Greetings, traveler. Paimon.
Oh, Ayato! We finally get to see the busiest person of all.
Yes, there were many things which required my attention these past few days. Fortunately, the Iridori festival is proceeding smoothly. The Tri-Commission cooperated closely to prepare this festival, so at long last, I can take a break today.
Brother and I are very grateful for your help.
Toma sure is taking his sweet time.
Yes. Today is one of the rare occasions when Brother isn't busy. I was going to buy some books, but he said he wanted to come along. His treat. However, he forgot his wallet at home, so he asked Toma to go back and fetch it for him.
Paimon didn't think Ayato could ever be forgetful like that.
Brother always works diligently, and it's rare for him to ever put his duties to the side and relax. So, Toma and I really cherish such moments when he's forgetful.
Oke. Kita tinggalkan dua keluarga bahagia ini. Siapa yang di situ? Kazuha ya?
Kazuha, what are you doing here? Why aren't you at the festival?
I came here to take in the sea breeze. Such a bustling atmosphere is never really to my liking. I knew you were still worried about me. Thank you. But please, don't worry. The things I said in front of everyone weren't just pretty-sounding excuses. Look. See this familiar harbor in front of us? Before, you could sit here all day without seeing a single ship pass through. Instead, all you would see were soldiers from the Kanjo Commission, guarding against possible intruders. But now, it's become a bustling place. Not only are foreigners coming to Inazuma again, but traffic between here and Watatsumi Island has also been picking up.
Yeah, Inazuma has already started to change, huh?
I was thinking, in some ways, each and every one of us are similar to this country. It might take a different amount of time for different people, but there will inevitably come a day when each person can let go of their burdens. And when they finally let go, they are free to follow the wind as they please.
Okay. Next. Sukipu,
Time for the
sukipu.
portraits unveiling ceremony.
Sukipu,
Let's
sukipu.
head over to the 5 Kasen Plaza.
Oke, sudah mulai ya acaranya. Si Kazuha nggak ikut tuh. Ya udah. Kita tinggalkan saja dia.
Everyone, welcome to the magnificent Iridori Festival. Today, we have ushered in the final stage of our festival,
Oh, ini
and
Kazuha
now
ikut.
we will reveal the final portrait of the 5 Kasen,
Kuronushi.
Kuranushi, which was done by none other than our guest artist from Mondstadt, Calx.
Paimon has no idea what Albedo's portrait looks like. Oh, this is so nerve-wracking.
Let's all count down together.
3,
3,
2,
2,
1. Langsung cerita kali ya. Bang, 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 bang. Woi,
What's this? This piece depicts nothing but a background. I suppose Calx must have forgotten to include the character. Let's hear some words from Calx himself regarding the creative process behind this piece.
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to say that it was an honor to be invited to create the portraits of the 5 Kasen. The 5 Kasen are legendary figures from ancient Inazuma, famous for their works of poetry. As time passed, poems were composed about them, and they became the subjects of many stories.
Okay.
I learned from existing sources about those stories that the character of Kuranushi is the deepest and most differing of the 5 Kasen. Moreover, Kuranushi lacks a dedicated chapter among the stories. It's as if he is a behind-the-scenes role of the 5 Kasen. Perhaps we can assume that every creator had a different understanding of Kuranushi. So, in the same way,
oh,
I also wanted to leave
Makanya
this character
kosong.
to everyone's own imagination.
dia pengen
After all,
bikin Kuronushi ya.
Iridori
Terserah
Festival
sesuai
is a place
imajinasi
for
kalian
everyone
seperti apa.
to express their minds through creative works.
Yep,
Oi.
that's Albedo for ya. His super logical explanation is sure to win everyone's approval. Well, it seems that our adventures at the Iridori Festival have come to a close. Huh? What are you talking about?
Apa yang ketinggalan?
Oh, right! We still haven't figured out who left those
Oh
stories
iya,
of the
siapa yang
5
ninggalin
Kasen for us to
story?
find. Really? Come on then, who is it? Tell Paimon! Well, that
Siapa ya?
makes sense.
Eipo.
Otherwise, there'd be
kali.
no way to give the right paper to the right person every
Iya.
time.
Kayaknya A deh.
Right?
Gue yakin A, kayaknya
Even
A.
though they were
Kita
using stories
lihat
to hint
siapa
us
nih.
toward Shincho's troubles, the real goal was to lead us to solve the secrets of the Kaedehara clan.
Apa ya Miko?
Paimon gets it now. Well, at least Paimon thinks she knows. Let's go! We'll get to the bottom of this.
Apa Miko? Look for that person. Ah, apa orang ini? Orang ini guys, coba. Oh bukan. Welcome back Almighty Shogun. Kenapa Almighty Shogun? Oh, dia jadi ini guys. Cosplay. Hah, kenapa cosplaynya beda? The person. Pasti orang ini, si kampret ini, yakin loh. Iya kan?
The one who left the stories of the 5 Kasen.
Oh, masa salah?
I'm afraid you guessed wrong, Paimon. It wasn't me.
Huh? Really? Paimon thought for was sure you'd be the sneaky and tricky one.
Antara E apa dia guys? Tapi E kok nggak ada.
seeing as you
Pak
stumbled
Janjan
upon
Ayato.
me, you aren't far from finding that person now. Because other than me, there's only one person left.
Oh iya, Ayato berarti ya. Oh, ya ini kan event Ayato ya, jadi pasti orang ini. Bener dong, Ayato ternyata.
You're the one behind the stories of the five cousin. But don't you think you overdid it a little? Leading all your friends on a wild hunt like that?
As it just so happens, one of the reasons I'm here today is to explain the details behind this wild hunt.
Paimon wants to see how you'll explain yourself out of this one.
First of all, the start of this whole incident was due to mere happenstance. You see, Lady Yai happened to catch sight of Xingqiu and
Pasti,
the
tapi
editor carrying the
ya
books
Miko
away
tahu.
one night. She thought it was interesting, so she asked me to tease them a bit.
Oh, emang Miko kan?
Miko after all!
Tuh kan?
Paimon knew it! This thing had Miko written all over it!
That's right.
Udah jelas.
But using the story of the five cousin to guide you to the Kaedehara family's secrets was my personal touch.
Oh,
As
okay.
for my roundabout approach, well, that was something which I had no choice but to do.
You had no choice?
Yes. Due to a certain incident that occurred earlier, I happened to notice the bonsai plants left behind by Kaedehara Yoshinori, as well as the blank papers hidden inside. I knew there was more than meets the eye regarding those papers, but it took me some time to figure out the secret behind the ink, the kind that would only appear when exposed to water. What Kaedehara Yoshinori said in the letter is very important for both the Kamisato clan and the descendants of the Kaedehara clan, especially Kazuha. The Kaedehara clan used to be subordinates of the Kamisato clan. It was my ancestors who were unable to protect them all those years ago. So now, this obligation fell on my shoulders. Although he has the right to know the truth, the closer he draws to things hidden out of sight, the closer he also draws to danger. I had to confirm whether Kazuha has both the will and ability to be privy to the truth. Of course, I could outright tell him the truth that I had discovered, but maybe he doesn't have the will that's required. In that case, the truth would only become a burden to him. If he lacks the ability, then he wouldn't be able to find the truth in the first place. In which case, it would be better to keep him away from danger altogether. Kaedehara Yoshinori left his message in a roundabout way precisely for this reason. For a long time, I yearned for a suitable opportunity to convey this matter, right up until the night when a legend of sword was smuggled away.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. Yeah, it wasn't only Kazuha. You brought all of the rest of us into this plan of yours.
I figured you would ask this question eventually. I merely saw that this matter would be of value to you. And more importantly, I hoped that while Kazuha and Ayaka were looking for the answers together, they would have some reliable friends by their side. Reliable friends who would be willing to protect them and make measured decisions. Friends who would spare no effort to lend a helping hand in times of trouble. Because it is also very likely that you will face the same enemy together in the future. You already know the answer deep down inside, don't you? The answer is actually hidden in the portrait of Kuronushi. When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eyes. As for the means of revealing that answer, well, you have used it many times before.
Oh, nunggu sampai nunggu jam 12 guys, kita akan duduk nongkrong di sini. Kita akan menunggu sampai jam 12 ya. Lihat apa yang terjadi. 12-an. Aha. Oke, kita cek duels. Oh, udah langsung.
It's getting pretty late, so nobody else is around now. So Ayato must have been telling us to splash water on the portrait, right?
Siram air anjir.
It's the
Oh,
Balladeer!
terus kelihatan
The
anjir.
one behind the trouble all those years ago!
When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eyes. As for the means of revealing that answer, well, You have used it many times before. Also, there's one last thing that we must discuss. I mentioned earlier that the occurrence of a certain incident made me notice the bonsai plants. I wish to tell you of that incident now. It was just after the Shogun announced the abolition of the Sakoku decree. I heard that something had happened at the Tenryou Commission. They had discovered signs that someone had entered the warehouse storing the Commission's articles of evidence and confiscated items. But nothing was stolen. I felt something unusual about that incident, so I told Kujo Sara of the Tenryou Commission to treat it as if nothing happened. She was not to increase the guard or relocate the warehouse contents. In the meantime, I sent a member of the Shumatsuban to keep watch over the warehouse. And sure enough, someone was sneaking in and rummaging through the belongings of the Kaedehara clan.
You mean he was also looking for...
I let him search for a while, but in the end,
He found nothing.
Soon
Terus
after,
dia pergi.
he had to leave Inazuma by boat.
Why didn't you send someone to catch him?
The best way to protect a secret is to treat it as if it doesn't exist, is it not? Besides, the identity of this person is not hard to guess. After he left Inazuma, I carefully checked the Kaedehara clan's belongings one by one, and eventually discovered the papers in the hidden compartment of the flower pot. I am certain that the papers are the secret which the infiltrator sought to find, though he couldn't confirm whether this secret existed at all. So, now on to my final question. Which part of Kaedehara Yoshinori's experiences was the secret that needed to be protected?
Bawah aja.
I don't have an answer to this question at present, so I'll leave it to your future self. As for now, please, enjoy
Tidak
yourselves
jelas
at the
memang.
Iridori Festival.
Ya, akan menjadi rahasia. Oke, jadi seperti itu guys. Jadi festival ini ujung-ujungnya, oh ternyata nggak ada eventnya guys, cuma gambar fotonya doang. Oke, jadi seperti itu ya ceritanya dari The Five Kasen dan Kasen terakhir ya, ternyata si kampret ini. Jadi begitu ceritanya. Jadi sebenarnya apa namanya guys, festival ini untuk ngebuka kejadian masa lalu dari Kaedehara clan lah ya, untuk mengungkap itu semua. Jadi side story-nya ada, ya seperti itulah. Dan ya itu bonekanya tapi udah udah punya pikiran sendiri, dan dia udah beralih dan udah jadi Harbinger kan, kalau nggak salah Harbinger keberapa gitu. Dan itulah makanya kenapa dia hidup dari zaman itu, karena dia udah, karena kan juga udah hidup lama, dia kan Arkon kan, terus dia udah bikin boneka-boneka itu udah lama, jadi mereka udah anggaplah ratusan tahun ya, mereka udah ada gitu loh. Jadi ya seperti itu guys ceritanya dari Act 4 event Inazuma ya. Jadi sudah kita bereskan semua eventnya, tinggal entar festival Deeds Part 4. Oke, jadi hari ini sampai di sini dulu aja, sampai bertemu besok ya. Besok kita akan lanjutin lagi untuk perjalanan di GenshinImpact-nya. Terus habis itu next kita akan mencoba dua event. Kita lihat akan satu event sehari atau langsung dua-duanya, kita lihat besok. Oke, so thank you buat yang udah nonton, like dan subscribe, yang udah share dan komen juga. Sampai bertemu besok and have a good day. Bye bye.